Greetings, STC staff members, families, and students. Hey, it's Dr. Smith. I just want to take a few minutes to update you in terms of where we've been in terms of the school closure, what's going on right now, and then what's going to happen in the future. Hopefully, you got the letter that I just sent out a few minutes ago that updates specifically our staff members with just some of those updates. As I've said before, and as you've heard if you've been following the news, there's updates pretty much every day. So it's very hard to get on top of the news and to share out what we're doing as a school district. But I did just want to take a few minutes right now to just summarize really the letter that I sent out. Just kind of highlighting some of the key points and making sure you're clear on what we're thinking as a district and really just our philosophy on our decision making. I'm just gonna, like I said, quickly go through the letter that I shared here. You can either follow along or you can just with your letter, or you can just listen to me and I'll try to highlight the high points. The first part of the letter, I did include our frequently asked questions page, as well as a couple other letters that we sent to our parents and guardians really prior to school closing. But if you look at those three documents, you can kind of see the communication that's happened in the past. Like I said, just yesterday, it was announced that social distancing would be extended through April 30th. And if you're keeping track at home, we're supposed to be out of school until, for us, it's April 14th. Tuesday, April 14th was the day we're supposed to come back. Well, based on this new information, I'm personally finding it difficult to believe that we will be back when after the 4 weeks is up. But again, I wrote the letter with that in mind, that we would be out beyond the 4 weeks. So please keep that in mind. As you can see, as I'm scrolling down here, weeks 1 and 2, really March 16th is the first day out of school through March 30th, which is it's today. Really, our focus as a district for our employees was to really focus on personal health, family well-being, making sure you're situated in your homes with your families. We said our district believes in equitable education opportunities for all students. Because of this, we do not believe we can guarantee a viable and equitable education for all students. Therefore, there will be no required learning during this time. That was something across the state that was mandated. I know other districts in other states, if you look, some states have made learning required. From my perspective, that's difficult for our teachers to suddenly overnight be able to pull off at a high level, ensuring that all students are getting the equitable access to teachers and technology and resources they need. That's just my opinion. Just right or wrong, our state hasn't been we haven't done a ton of online distance learning. And so, specifically in our district, we're just not ready for that. We don't have enough resources. We know a lot of our students, our most recent survey indicated that just over 50% of our students have regular access to internet at home. So we just couldn't imagine pushing anything that was not optional onto our families and onto our students. I'm going to keep reading here. Even though we did not have staff expectations, so we didn't have any staff expectations around distance learning or distance teaching. We really wanted these first 2 weeks for our staff to have a chance to see what's going on in their own families, and just making sure that they've got everything situated. Actually, talking to a lot of you, it's been very busy at home with young kids running around. It sounds like it's actually been as stressful as maybe being at school. So I hope you're getting things figured out, and I really hope you're all staying very healthy. But like I mentioned, I've been blown away by the commitment of our staff to provide instructional support to students and families. Every time I look, I'm getting new emails about new ideas about how our teachers and our staff members can connect with students. I don't know if you saw, we had, and I'll link it in here, we had a staff video greetings to students page. And as I checked this morning, there was 11,000 views of that page of the different videos. I think we had 76 staff members who have done personalized video greetings to students. So if you haven't checked that out, I really encourage you to take a look. a really cool idea for our students to be able to at least see their teachers. It's kind of cool seeing what they're like in their home, some of their kids and their pets and that sort of thing. So check that out. Hopefully you've had a chance to see our at-home resource page. Our teacher leaders did an amazing job of pulling that together kind of within 24 hours and getting that out to our staff or our parents for resources that they can give their kids if they're looking at some online or just some distance learning options at home. So again, if you haven't taken a look at that, I really encourage you to take a look at that resource guide because it's outstanding. I've got many compliments from people outside our district about how that's organized. And it's organized in such a way that it's preschool up through 12th grade and across all subject areas, and we've even got it translated if necessary. Before I go on to weeks 3 and 4 and then weeks 5 and beyond, I really want to give a shout out to our support staff who have, even though we haven't had like specific everybody all support staff is doing this at this time, we haven't required that. However, we have had pockets of our support staff working really throughout these first 2 weeks off of school. Our food service has been delivering families. We've been doing about 150 meals per day on a grab and go basis. I had a chance to help a couple of those days, and it's such a great feeling knowing that we're helping the families and the students in our community. And I really appreciate our food service staff making sure they've been in the kitchen, ordering food, putting food into packages, and making sure our kids can take those home. So thank you so much to our food service staff. Custodial maintenance have been working hard as well. Our custodial maintenance crews got in right away and did a deep clean of our buildings. And they've also been working at the old primary site. If you've driven by 63 off to the, I guess it'd be the east side there, you can see a lot of progress with the old primary site on what's being done to make that a little bit more family friendly for the community in that area. Our secretarial staff has been tying up some loose ends. Thank you so much to Connie for getting out teacher contracts. Thank you, Annie, for getting us everybody paid. I always say the first time, the time when we'll hear from people right away about any complaints about the district is when they don't get paid on time. So Annie, thank you so much. And Connie, thank you for getting out those contracts. And really a lot of our secretarial staff has been doing other work just to make sure we are, oh, I've got a little visitor here. Say hello, Zelda. Zelda just popped. She likes when I talk to nobody and she gets real interested on what I'm doing. So hopefully you can see her. I'm going to let her go, but she just popped by there. So, but thank you to our secretarial staff. Transportation has been incredible, helping serve lunches, transporting lunches. Thank you so much to our transportation staff. Okay, I'm going to move forward here. I really want to talk about weeks 3 and 4 and 5 and beyond. So weeks 3 and 4 is really March 30th through April 13th. March 30th is today, and really our district focus is student connections and staying healthy. Our biggest goal during these next 2 weeks is making sure that all teachers / certified staff are making a unified effort to connect with students and families. Our goal will be as follows, is that really starting this Wednesday, every STC student, all 1,500 plus of you, will receive at least one contact by one teacher or certified staff member. Now staff, you're probably wondering who calls who and do I call this student or that student? Your building administration is working today and tomorrow to get you a list of who you will be contacting. So hang tight. You will be hearing from your principals and your administration on who you will be contacting. Really, the purpose of these phone calls is to check in on students and families, make sure they're doing well, and have access to any resources that they might need. We also want to make sure that our families and students are aware of the continued learning resources that we have available. There's so many online learning resources available. It's just unreal how all the companies really across the nation and worldwide have opened up a lot of what used to be pay for sites. Now they're open to anyone who wants to access them. Like I said, our goal for staff members is to make sure that we're contacting between Wednesday, April 1st and Friday, April 10th, making sure that every student in our district is contacted just to make sure we are in touch, providing resources and opportunities for those students. Next thing to mention there is starting this Wednesday, we're going to hand out lunches twice a week. We're going to hand out lunches on Mondays and Wednesdays. And on Mondays, any student in our district can pick up 2 lunches per student, one for Monday, one for Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, they can pick up 3 lunches, one for Wednesday, one for Thursday, one for Friday. So 2 different times, 11 to 1, on Monday and Wednesday at the same locations, the elementary school, the middle school, the partnership center. By doing this, we're just going to limit having our staff have to go out and be possibly exposed to any viruses, or actually any of our students as well. So we're limiting those to just 2 days, and I think it's really going to work well that way. So you might be asking, what about support staff? In most cases, support staff will not be given additional duties during these next 2 weeks. And again, we're talking about March 30th to April 13th. However, they are welcome, and I know many of you have, to connect with students and families to provide assistance to teaching staff. In the event support staff are needed to complete additional duties, your direct supervisor will be contacting you, and that's happening already, and people have been very more than willing to help. So finally, before I sum this up, I want to talk about April 14th and beyond. Remember, April 14th was the day we were supposed to come back. And like I said earlier, I just don't think it's going to happen. I could be wrong, and we need to be prepared to come back on the 14th. But from everything I'm hearing, it's going to be a lot longer than us returning on April 14th. So I just want to make sure I was clear. And again, you can look at the letter that I'm referencing here. But really, our focus is really supporting students during this time. Assuming we do not return, we will offer, and the state came out last Friday, and this is why things are always changing. They said you can either offer volunteer educational enrichment opportunities, or you can offer, what do we call it, required educational services. I had a good conversation with our leadership team, and we thought we're just not, unfortunately, and I think most school districts across the state would say the same thing. We're just not in a place right now where we can require educational services to all students. There's a lot of prep work that would go into this that would take, quite honestly, months to happen. And for us to put something into place in just a couple weeks, again, we have high expectations for our staff members, high expectations for students, but for us to put together something in a couple weeks just simply doesn't work for our district and for our community. We just don't have the resources that we need to pull that off. So we're going to focus more on voluntary educational enrichment opportunities. And here's what our staff are going to do during that time. Our staff are going to continue to contact their assigned students and families 1 time per week. Just like I talked about before, just making sure that we're in contact, we're knowing we're there for support. Anything you need for us to help you out with those at-home learning opportunities, we're going to do for you, and we're going to make you aware of those. Second, we're going to starting April 14th, the week of April 14th, we're going to start up some office hours. So teachers will hold a minimum of 3 office hours per week. And it's really just going to be a set time that staff members have where parents and guardians and students they know they can contact that teacher during that period of time. And it'll look different. With all these things, it's going to look different depending on the building, depending on the staff member. These communications could be by email, by phone call, a lot of us are starting to use like Zoom or Google Hangouts. It could look a lot of different ways. So it's really going to depend on your teacher on what those office hours look like. But we want our students and our parents to know that they can have access during that time, and it'll be very clearly laid out for you within your buildings what time those are. On April 14th, the teaching staff need to be available to complete duties as needed by school administration. This could be PLC meetings, IEP meetings, professional development. We don't expect a ton of extra work for staff, but we do feel like you need to be available to be available in case the administration needs you for something that will push push the work forward for our students. Also, finally, during the April 14th and beyond, and you can see I put question mark because really we don't know how long this is going to last. But also during this time, we'll be exploring options for allowing students to access additional personal items from buildings. These could include band instruments, iPads, other learning materials and resources. I don't have all those details right now. That information will be coming in the following weeks. We do understand that students need to have access and get some of these things from school, but we also are very conscientious. If you haven't seen the data per capita, Tama County has one of the highest rates right now in terms of the virus spreading. So we want to make sure that we're really conscientious about following safety guidelines, but we also want our students to make sure that they're accessing those items. And again, at the very bottom there, support staff. Again, support staff, there's really not going to be any set additional duties at this time. However, I just want you to, just like I said earlier, in the event support staff are needed to complete additional duties, they will be contacted by their district supervisor. So again, that was kind of it's a lot longer than I was thinking, but I hope that gives you just a kind of a feel of our philosophy on how we're handling staff members and really what the next several weeks are going to look like. I anticipate, every week to 2 weeks coming back and communicating really what the future holds for us in terms of district. I know there's a lot of questions out there with events that are being missed, sports, graduation. I don't have those answers right now. I have told this to our high school staff, and we are all we all kind of agree on this. We want to do what we can. We understand, especially senior year, such a huge year for our students. That's the year that everybody remembers. We want to do whatever we can for our students to still have those opportunities. However, we're also still making sure we follow the guidelines, and we'll make sure we follow whatever health precautions we're given. So again, I wish I had more answers for you right now. I just don't. But you do have my word that we will continue to communicate with you, get the word out, and share whatever we can, and really try to not only err on the side of safety, but also try to do what's best for kids. So I hope this helps. Again, if there's something I haven't covered, I encourage you to read through the letter that I've sent there. There's a lot of links in there that could take you to further information if you're looking for it. So I hope that's good for now. I appreciate your time and for listening, and have a good day, and go Trojans.